Hello, my name is Sophie Fletcher. I'm the author of Mindful Hypnobirthing and a clinical hypnotherapist. Today I'm going to talk to you about choice and control. These, to me, are really important elements of birth. They really impact on people's experience afterwards as well. So I want today to really start you thinking about what choice means, how you can make the choices that are right for you, but also what control means to you. Because I have a lot of people who come to me and say, I want to feel like I'm in control. And in my book, I explore that a bit more about what control actually means during birth. And for most people, it is wrapped around choice, and also other things like, for example, feeling physically in control. And that can actually be fear of expressing yourself and making noise during birth. So I might explore that with people in more detail. But let's go back to choice and focus on that. You have choice, so much choice. And it's so often that I speak to people in my classes who use language like, oh, well, I wasn't allowed, or I'm not allowed. It's your body, it's your baby, this is your experience. It is one of the biggest days of your life. And so getting it right and having the support and the knowledge and the courage to make the decisions that are right for you is something that hypnobirthing will set you up really well to do. We use a basic framework called BRAINS. And that's what are the benefits, what are the risks, what are the alternatives, which is my favorite, and what's your intuition telling you, what's the indication for that, what if we did nothing. And I always stick a smile on the end because smiling builds relationships and it also releases serotonin and oxytocin. And that's important when you're making a choice, because often when we make choices in a highly pressurized environment, what feels like a pressurized environment, we tend to feel anxious and worried. And what happens in those circumstances is that people can get brain fog. And you might recognize this as, if you get up and give a presentation on your specialist topic, an area that you know really well, better than anyone else in the room, but you might feel nervous or anxious, and in that moment, suddenly everything goes out of your head and you can't remember anything. That's that anxiety playing around with your mind, because blood is rushing to the arms and the legs, and the brain is considered a non-essential organ in those circumstances in a survival response. So blood tends to rush away from the brain. And so when it comes to birth, it's really important that you have the tools and the abilities to take your time, to step back, to think about the choices that you're making, to get the information that you need from the people that are supporting you, the midwife, the doctor, anyone else in the room on the day. So all those things matter, and hypnobirthing can help get you into that calm state of mind. And that makes you feel more in control of the choices that you are making, more in control of the decisions. And I always say, people who come to me afterwards and say, oh, I don't know why I made that. I felt really rushed into that. It's really important to take your time. So ask for more time. Say, look, we'd like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to think about this. If it doesn't feel right, keep asking the questions. Keep delaying. Things don't always happen as quickly as you expect they might. And so take the time that you need and get the support you need. But it's okay to say, no, I don't want that. I'd like that instead. And at the end of the day, a lot of the couples come to me and say, well, I'm not a birth professional. I'm going to leave that up to the doctors. They're the experts. And yeah, they might be experts in obstetrics, but they're not experts in you. And that's why it's important to ask those questions. There are nearly always alternatives. Everyone has a different way of working, different consultants, different midwives have different ways of approaching certain situations. So always ask, always get as much information as you can and use a framework like BRAINS to do that. But hypnobirthing does a lot of work around this, and I think in my experience and in the work that I've done, this is so important when it comes to resilience and preventing trauma, because having those conversations makes you feel heard, listened, and gives you the information that you need in the moments that you need it. So that's a very brief overview of choice and control in relation to hypnobirthing. Remember, you can hop onto my Instagram or drop me a DM if you have any further questions.